Hello people of YouTube, I'm the Nerd Logan and welcome back to another deck profile. So I've done some tweaking to my Blackwings and thought I should make another deck profile on them before I do some stuff with the Invasion Vengeance coming out. Yeah, tomorrow I am going to a sneak peek at my local card place to go and do some Invasion Vengeance stuff, but I'll get more into that at the end of the video. So let's get into the deck here for Blackwings. So I use 3 Blackwing Chris the Crack of Dawn. Chris can special summon himself once per turn as long as there is a Blackwing of different name on the field. And once per turn, he cannot be destroyed by spell or trap effect. And with him being a 1900 attack beater, that's really good. Next, I use 3 Blackwing Boar the Spear. As well, he can special summon himself by having another Blackwing of different name on the field. On your side of the field, I mean. Sorry. And if he attacks a defense position monster, you can inflict piercing damage to your opponent. Next, 3 Gale the Whirlwind. It has the similar special summon effect to Bora, so as long as you have a Blackwing of different name, you can special summon Gale from your hand. And as well, Gale can target one monster your opponent controls and halve its attack and defense. And this is actually a permanent halve. So, yeah, it really comes in handy in this deck a lot. Next off, 3 Collude the Moonshadow. Collude can be used as a good hand trap, where during the damage calculation with a battling Blackwing, you can discard him from your hand and increase that Blackwing's attack by 1400. As well, Collude's effect does not say you can only use the effect of Collude the Moonshadow once per turn. So you can, if you have all 3 Colludes in your hand, you could discard all 3 if you needed. Next, Tushura the Blue Flame. Whenever she destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, she can special summon 1 Blackwing from your deck with 1500 or less attack, and its effects are negated. This can be mostly used with cards like Panaki, the next card, Panaki, Collude, and Gale, but with her effect only being useful for graveyard in a pendulum-based meta most of the time, it's kind of hard to use it. And like what I said with Shroud's effect, you can use it to special summon 2 Panaki the Waxing Moon. Panaki can only be used for the synchro summoning of Blackwing synchros, but the up to his effect is whenever he's sent from field to graveyard, during the end phase of that turn, you can add 1 Blackwing from your deck to hand other than himself. This is really good to help get plays started for your next turn in case if you're in a bit of a tough spot. As well, I use 2 Blackwing Blizzard the Far North. Now, Blizzard is one of the only Blackwings that can't be special summoned, so there's a downside. But whenever he's normal summoned, you can target a level 4 or lower Blackwing in your graveyard and special summon it in defense mode. This is good maybe to bring back Gales to have a monster's attack, or bring out a level 4 for a good synchro summon. As well, I use 1 Blackwing Zephyros the Elite. Zephyros, once per duel, can return a face-up card I control to my hand and then special summon himself from the graveyard. And sadly, after that, I have to take 400 damage, which is moderate. 1 Blackwing Gladius the Midnight Sun. Gladius can only special summon himself as long as there's exactly 1 Blackwing on the field of different name, and once per turn he cannot be destroyed by battle. He's good for good synchro fodder or Icarus attack fodder. 1 Blackwing Tornado the Reverse Wind. Tornado, whenever you normal summon this card, it can target a Blackwing tuner in your graveyard and special summon it. But to do this, your opponent must control a special summoned monster at the time. And sadly, after you conduct that special summon, for the rest of the turn, you can only synchro summon, special summon from your extra deck Blackwing monsters. Which, most of the time, really isn't that awful, if you think about it. And finally for monsters, 1 Blackwing, Orochi the Squall. Orochi can special summon himself once per turn if you have a Blackwing of different name, and you can, whenever he's sent from the field to graveyard as synchro material, you can change the battle position of 1 monster on the field. This is sometimes good in case if your opponent's sitting on that 1 defense position, you know. For spells, I use 3 Black Whirlwind. When Black Whirlwind is on the field, whenever you normal summon a Blackwing, you can add 1 Blackwing from your deck to hand whose attack is less than that of the normal summoned monster. And it does not say this effect can only be activated once per turn, so if you have multiple Whirlwinds on the field or conduct more than 1 normal summon, this effect can go off multiple times, which has been really useful for me. 2 Allure of Darkness. Now I know Allure has been actually taken off the ban list and is now legal at 3, but I feel Allure at 2 is perfectly fine with me because I feel like 3 would just be too cloggy. But with this, you draw 2 cards and then you banish a dark monster from your hand, or you have to discard your entire hand. And with a deck that is 100% that every monster in the main deck is dark, that's really not a worry. 2 Twin Twisters. You discard a card and then destroy 2 spell or trap cards on the field. This is really good for getting rid of pendulum scales with all these pendulum-based decks that are out today. 1 Instant Fusion. Pay 1,000 life points and special summon a level 5 or lower fusion type 1 fusion monster from your extra deck, and it cannot attack this turn. This is good for using a fusion that you'll just see later in the video. And 1 Raigeki. You guys recommended I get this, and luckily I got one from a friend who gave me one for my upcoming birthday, so thank you. But this card can only be used at 1, and with it you destroy all cards your opponent controls, which at sometimes becomes really handy. On to traps. I use 3 Icarus attacks. You tribute a winged beast, then target 2 cards on the field, destroy them. Now sadly, if your opponent only has 1 monster, you have to destroy 1 of your cards as well. Now, odd thing about me is I have 3 Icarus attacks. You can tell that these are 3 different rarities, each of them saying a different thing. One says destroy, one says select, and one says target. But if you have one of these, just make sure you tell your opponent it means to say target. 2 Black Sonics. The most ridiculous card in the deck, because whenever your opponent declares an attack on a Blackwing monster, you banish all attack positions they control. Not destroy, banish. And as well, if you control exactly 3 Blackwings and no other monsters, you can activate this card from your hand, which has some serious potential, honestly. As well, 2 Mirror Forces, just in case of scenarios where I can't use Black Sonic. So, yeah. With Mirror Force, instead of banishing, it just destroys all attack position monsters your opponent controls after they declare an attack. And as well, Solemn Warning and Bottomless Trap Hole, because negate a summon by taking 2,000 life points, or destroy and banish them as long as it has 1,500 or more attack. Alright, let's get into the extra deck. Sorry, I put these in new sleeves, they were starting to fall on my hand. I used 2 Raikiri the Rain Shower, Assault Blackwing Raikiri the Rain Shower, I should say. If he is synchro summoned using a Blackwing as material, he is treated as a tuner, and as well, you can target cards up to the number of other Blackwings you control and destroy them. This has become real handy because it can destroy a large amount of cards my opponent controls as long as I have a good field. And sadly, I wish Raikiri's effect was more like the anime, where I can target cards up to the number of Blackwings I control, which could include himself. But sadly, no. 2 Blackwing Tamer Obsidian Hawk Joe. Obsidian can, once per turn, target a level 5 or higher winged beast in my graveyard and special summon it. And as well, if he is the only card targeted by battle or card effect, I can make my opponent target another Blackwing appropriate for that effect. So, say you have Blackwing Armor Master on the field, and this guy, and your opponent declares an attack onto Obsidian. You can make your opponent change that attack target to Armor Master instead. As well for card effects, so there's that. As well, 2 Blackwing Nothung the Starlight. When Nothung is special summoned, not synchro summoned, you inflict your opponent for 800 points of damage, and then if they have a monster on the field, decrease its attack and defense by 800. This is similar to Gale's Having effect because it is as well permanent. As well as Nothung, as long as Nothung is on the field, you can conduct the additional normal summon of a Blackwing monster. So if you have Black Whirlwind on the field, you can conduct your first normal summon, get the search, and then normal summon again, and get a second search, or more. Depends on the whirlwinds. As well, since his other effect goes off on special summon, if he is in graveyard and you have summoned Obsidian Yugioh, you can burn them for even more. But sadly, both of those effects are only once per turn. Next, 1 Blackwing Armor Master. Armor Master can't be destroyed by battle, and I take no battle damage with any battle he is in. And if he attacks a monster and it survives, you place a wedge counter on it, which can be later removed to make a monster's attack and defense 0. Now, Armor Master is only in this deck because he's a good first turn level 7. This is only for decks that you don't know what their potential is, and he can be protected as long as your opponent is in a effect destruction based deck. Next, 1 Assault Blackwing Chidori the Rain Sprinkling. Chidori, like Raikiri and all other Assault Blackwings, are treated as tuners when synchro summoned using a Blackwing as material. Now Chidori as well can gain 300 attack for every Blackwing in my graveyard. And mid-duel, this effect could really stack up. Even if you synchro summon him first turn, his attack already goes up to 3,200. As well, after he is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target another winged beast synchro other than himself and special summon it from the graveyard. As well, 1 Blackwing Sahoya the Rainstorm. His first, as well, treated as a tuner is synchroed using a Blackwing, and whenever he's successfully synchro summoned, you can target an Assault Blackwing in your graveyard and special summon it. So this is a great way to bring back Chidori, Raikiri, or the other one. Even another Sahoya if you have one. As well, if 2 Sahoyas are in the graveyard, you can banish 1 Sahoya and special summon the other one to the field. Whoa, that slipped out. As well, 1 Blackwing Onimaru the Divine Thunder. The only level 12 Blackwing synchro, which is ridiculous. Now, Onimaru, as surprisingly, is treated as a tuner if synchro summoned using a Blackwing as material. Why? And as well can target a Blackwing in the graveyard and change his level to the level of a targeted Blackwing. That effect can only be used once per duel for some reason. And during the damage step, if this card was synchro summoned using synchro monsters only, during the damage step, he gains an extra 3,000 attack, taking him up to 6,000 attack. This is really good for OTK potential in many ways. And finally, for synchros, I use 1 Coral Dragon. This is a good level 6 tuner synchro to use with Nothung to make Onimaru. Now, Coral Dragon, you can discard a card from your hand and target a card your opponent controls and destroy it. And as well, if this synchro summoned card was sent to the graveyard, you can draw 1 card. So he's also good for drawing after you synchro. 1 Raidraptor 4 Strix. It's a good thing with Norden and basic rank level 4 Blackwings because you can detach material from this card and add one level 4 Dark Winged Beast monster from your deck to hand. So it's great to add Shra, Bora, Chris, or Zephyros if needed. And as well, as long as there are other winged beasts on the field, he gains an extra 500 attack and defense for each. So this thing has the potential to become a 2100 by 4000 beat stick or wall. Next, Iced Beast Zero Fine. Zero Fine takes 2 winged beasts to make, 2 level 4 winged beasts to be exact. As well, you can detach a material from this card and negate the effects of all face-up cards my opponent controls, and Zero Fine gains 300 attack for each face-up card on the field other than itself. So it negates your opponent's cards and gains attack for all face-up cards on the field, including your own. This is good for stopping pendulum decks relying on pendulum effects or decks with a lot of continuous or monster effects. And this thing has grown to high attacks at many times with me. And finally for XYZs, Raid Raptor Blade Burner Falcon. Like Zero Fine, requires 2 level 4 winged beasts to make. Now, this card is more situational because if you have 3,000 less life points or more than your opponent, this card will gain 3,000 attack points. And after this card attacks and destroys a monster, you can detach up to as many materials from him as you want, and destroy as many monsters equal to that. So if it has 2 materials and you detach 2, you can destroy 2 more monsters. Now again, he's only situational because, yeah. And finally, one Elder Entity Norden. This is for instant fusion because whenever he's summoned, you can target a level 4 or lower monster in your graveyard, special summon, its effects are negated. So this is more used to bring out a monster like Forstrix so you can get that extra search and a bit of extra protection. Okay, so that's it for the deck profile. Now, I just have one more thing to say. So, the upcoming Invasion Vengeance decks, I'm going to try building at least 2 of them. The Crystrons and the Chemical Beast. So, I want you guys' recommendations, like, put some deck list in the comments below, and I will try to build some of the Chemical Beast and Crystron ideas from those. As well, if you guys got any other recommendations for decks upcoming or small edits to my Blackwings, I will be happy to take them, and I will gladly reply to your comments down in the comments below. So thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. See ya!